So let's start with the bullish case scenario, Derek, with you on why you think that this dip is something that may be worth buying.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, well, I think investors are a little bit impatient here, right? So AI integration is really a long-term catalyst for Adobe's success in the future. Well, first of all, like Adobe software are like very complicated, right? Imagine like now you have an AI agent for every user that can learn how to use Adobe software much quickly, right? So that's really a game changer, right? Like previously, you have to spend hours watching like YouTube tutorials on how to use Photoshop. Now just open up the user base and total addressable market for Adobe and lower the marketing cost for it as well. And the second thing is like the AI integration is really improving the user engagement and productivity gain for Adobe, just like the AI tool of Adobe, Firefly, has generated 16 billion images like since its launch. That's a great productivity gain and also user engagement improvement. We have seen like Adobe have been successful using this adopt first and monetize later strategy, just like what happened to the PDF market, right? So we believe that like with the higher user base and like this higher switching cost, Adobe can really successfully monetize at a later stage.
All right, so we're showing some signs of, or showing some images right now of this kind of Adobe Firefly product, the generative AI product in action. Jackson, why is it that Adobe has not been able to ride the AI wave that anybody seemingly putting AI in their marketing materials, investor materials, or otherwise gets the pop that they all get from AI these days?
That's interesting. I think it probably comes down to monetization. You know, what Derek said about 16 billion images and what the company says about generating 16 billion images, that's wonderful, but I have no context for that. 16 billion sounds like a lot, but I'm not sure if that's a lot relative to what the company was expecting in terms of its internal expectations for the usage and the adoption of the products. But what's clear is that there's real hesitancy for Adobe to actually start charging people money to turn on the credit limits so that people will start paying for Firefly in earnest. That's what I think is causing some of the struggles with artificial intelligence. Investors are looking at Adobe, and it seems like they are a little bit worried to start charging people actual money to start using the products. And it might be because they're concerned about the durability of that demand after the fact.
All right, so right now we've got an interesting divergence happening. As I pointed out, we have the majority of analysts, Jackson, on Wall Street, who are not exactly in your camp right now. Let's go through some of the kind of commentary that we're seeing right now. If you take a look at the bullish and the bearish arguments, we've kind of put a graphic together for that, right? If you look at some of these just notes that have come out, some of the comments are from Stifel, for instance. Adobe Summit serves as an opportunity to regain investor confidence. Mizuho, AI monetization is being underappreciated by the street. Piper Sandler remaining bullish on the long-term opportunity. D.A. Davidson, well-positioned to monetize its growth portfolio of Gen AI-enabled offerings while maintaining best-in-class margins. And then clearly, naturally, and well-positioned in the emerging AI ML realm. What the bulls are saying. Jackson, are those things, they seem like they could be very much in play, but why do you still maintain that out or underperform or sell type rating on the stock?
Yeah, I mean, just to start, Adobe is a wonderful company. I mean, they're growing nearly double digits and have margins approaching 46, 47%. It's a fantastic business. And if you want to be long-term positive, I completely understand why you would want to. I think in the short run, some of the things that we have concerns about are certainly what we mentioned earlier about monetizing artificial intelligence. That seems to be, that can keeps getting kicked down the road a little bit, which is again not a trend that we really like to see. But the other thing is, Adobe has been driving pricing changes in their core products for the last couple of years, and it's really helped their growth. We think going forward in the next 2 to 3 years, either their A, willingness, or B, ability to drive more pricing changes through their Creative Cloud is going to probably stunt their growth relative to what it was 2 to 3 years ago. And it doesn't help margin expansion when you're not raising price as much as you were the last couple of years. And then the other thing is, I know that Adobe, at least on valuation, on a valuation framework, looks pretty attractive, either relative to its peers or relative to its history. However, this company now is growing high single digits. The Creative Cloud is expected to exit 2025 growing around 7 or 8%. This compares to 2 or 3 years ago when the Creative Cloud was growing in the teens, or in 2021 when it was growing 20%. So I know that it looks relatively attractive, again, on its historical basis and relative to peers, but it's a different growth profile today than it has been for a long time.
All right, Derek, this is the last word to you. You're an owner of this. Your firm is an owner of this. It's a top 10 holding. Are you buying more of it? Would you like to see this stock go higher? And if so, what catalyzes it?
I think the valuation has been coming down a little bit. So that's like making investor great opportunity actually to buy the company more. Because I think this adopt first and monetize later strategy has been worked as any software company. When they're building their network effect, they're building their switching cost, and when users really they are engaged and they have gained a lot of productivity. Just look at what happened with their generative fill. Those users gonna stay here, and they are willing to pay more money down the road. And I think a lot of analysts, they worry about competitors from the AI native world, right? Like the OpenAI, Sora, Midjourney, those companies. But we see there's a strong mode for Adobe here because they have been integrated the AI into the existing workflow for many content creators. And that's very important. If you work in the marketing department of any company, how does work. We really have to create content under the company guidance and make a brand consistency. Most importantly, Adobe, they trained the Firefly model with existing Adobe stock images and also licensed open sources. That's very critical for the user to generate content that's ready for commercial use safely. So that's why we, as a holding in our AGIX ETF, we believe AI integration is a key for Adobe's long-term sustainable success.